Hey, what's up, guys? Here to bring you some soul-crushing truth. And it's from a woman. I know people will get mad, but I don't care. Because truth is the truth. There's not much you could say about it. You could twist the truth as much as you want. You could try and bend it to where you try to see fit, but it's not going to work out because the truth is going to basically have its way, whether you like it or not. No matter how many times you try to suppress it, how many years you try to suppress it, it will always come out. So, let's get into it on Hard Talk Radio.
Hey everyone, Chloe here, and welcome back to another video. So today I like to have an honest and open, no filter conversation about what happens to women after 35. And it's a topic that a lot of women don't like to talk about. And this is not fear mongering, this is the unfiltered truth. A lot of women don't like to admit that they're getting older, that they're struggling, or that they're drowning, or that their life is in the shambles, or that they're clueless about men. And a lot of women don't like to admit that they've made a ton of mistakes when it comes to men. They get embarrassed when they get used or played, or when they waste significant time with deadbeat men. So women tend to suffer in silence, and we don't have enough conversations with women on how to get on the right path. And we're not having these conversations with our mothers, our grandmothers, our aunties. So a lot of women hit 35 and they realize that not a soul, that no one told them or taught them anything to prepare them for life after 35. No one tells women about the gradual shift that takes place in a woman.
A lot of, the problem is like women don't like to tell the truth because it's uncomfortable. Whereas men, we will tell the truth. Okay. We have no choice but to tell the truth. Okay. We as men, the truth comes out. We want to get better. We have to tell the truth. That's what we got to do. But with women, they want to circumvent or try to talk amongst themselves certain things, but they don't talk about the harsh things. They don't talk about the things that, that matter sometimes. And when it is brought up, they try to divert it. They try to walk away from it. They try to run from it. What did they see in Thanos in Endgame? Flee from it, run from it. It's inevitable. That's basically what it is with men. We shoot from the hip. Women don't. Rarely do they shoot from the hip. Let's keep going.
Life after 35. And it's a real transition that should be talked about more openly amongst women. But we live in a society that expects women to stay in their 20s forever. But the truth is, we all age. And as women, we all have milestones in our lives that we'd like to accomplish. But after 35, many harsh reality.
A lot of women think they could be like Sierra, have a bunch of bad relationships, then end up with a Russell Wilson, and that's not the case. Stuff like that. Janet Jackson has a baby at 50. Black women who are not Janet Jackson want to also have a baby at 50 and don't understand they don't have the resources like Janet Jackson to have a baby and still be there for his 2 a.m. feedings, have nurses and nannies there when they too tired to get out of bed, because let's face it, when you're 50, you age and you're not going to have the same vitality as if you were to have the kid at 21, 22, 23, or 25.
These tend to kickstart depression in women, especially when they don't understand how to be hypergamous. So let's get into it. What women don't tell each other after 35. Let's start with independence. That being Miss Independent after 35 and doing it all wears you out. When you're young, you can be Miss Independent. But after 35, doing it all tires you. It's called attrition. Mileage is called the struggle or wear and tear. And after a while, doing it all, ladies, becomes very taxing.
Well, this is what they this is what they wanted. Unfortunately, this is what they wanted. And A lot of feminists don't understand it. They want it all, but in reality, they can't have it all. They look at certain women like Oprah and stuff like that. Oprah doesn't even have it all. Oprah's not married. Okay, she thinks she could do whatever she wants, but she can't. She has money, but she still has to do certain things that will, that is probably more of a chore than when she had done it when she was 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. They think because Oprah tells them they could do it too, which is a lie, that they could all achieve it. No. Okay. And Oprah is just one rebellious woman who basically, no one really looks at this fact that Oprah was sexually abused as a child and how that affected her mental psyche. That's why she is the way she is now, shouting her abortion, saying all types of nonsense to think. And women, she knows the women just think of her as a female Jesus, that they'll follow her to the ends of the earth, even if it lands in a ditch. They don't care. They want somebody to tell them lies instead of facing their consequences, disregarding advice that people who actually care about them and their families are telling them. Listen, you had your time. You messed up. You had a child out of wedlock. Now you have to work on pulling yourself up and finding you a good man. No more dating thugs. No more dating men just for sex. They don't want to hear that. Okay. They want to go after the man. They still want to have their fun and still go to the club. You can't do that anymore. Even at 35, 40, 50, they still want to do that, leaving a bunch of traumatized kids in their wake. Just like you have some men that don't want to grow up, you have women who extremely don't want to grow up. But when you talk about this, you're ashamed about it. Because a lot of times women don't want to hear the truth. And there are men who don't want to tell the women because they want to keep using these women and putting them on their backs and using them for sex.
On the body. And while it seems to be the standard that a lot of Black women have set for themselves, doing it all and having to do it all is stressful and it zaps your vitality because the energy that you had in your 20s will not be the same in your mid 30s. Moving on. After 35, no one cares how hard you work to be Miss Independent. Ladies, when you work against your feminine nature, it starts to grind you down and it starts to affect your looks and your feminine output. So if you're independent, but you look like hell, no one really cares because being a do it all workhorse makes a woman masculine. It makes you rough around the edges because doing it all.
This is what feminism does to women. Women don't care because they want to hear they could do it all without a man. They don't want to hear about gender roles. They don't want to hear that, you need a man, to be, how could I say this? You can't be doing this forever. You can't be, this having it all. It's a lie. Okay. And the fact that you want to have all this, have your own business and have kids and you're in charge. No. Okay. That's not true. It doesn't work that way. Okay. This is why you have women who, at the end of feminism is regret. You have women that used to be feminists. They resented it. They now have kids. Luckily they stopped in a good age bracket. They stopped and now they have kids and they regret being a feminist. Compared to those who lived it all their lives and now, but no kids, no husband, they're bitter. Because they find out at too late that feminism was a lie.
Taxes the body. And this is why
a lie, and also carried out by a CIA agent named Gloria Steinem to help put a wedge between the black man and the black woman.
many sisters are broken down body wise because Miss Do It All doesn't have the time or energy to invest in her femininity. She doesn't pull. She doesn't put herself first because she's been taught to do it all alone at the expense of herself. So just like no one cares about how cute a Dusty is after 35 if he's broke, no one cares about how hard you work because people will start to judge you on other areas of your life, like having children, not having children, having a husband, having security, having a family. After 35, people aren't really impressed with career women They're impressed with women who have it all. And I know that's things to hear, but it's the truth. Feminism doesn't prepare women for the judgment that comes with life after 35. Moving on. If you're still single, ladies, dating after 35 becomes an absolute nightmare. After 35, the pickings in the dating pool are slimmer than slim, especially if you are the type of black woman who's waiting around for her non existent black king. By this time, men will usually have a child or a bunch of kids to take care of, lots of child support payments. He may be divorced. He may be.
This is why women are told, you know, you can get your degree within 4 years and then seek a husband. And this is why you see these women, when they got their career and everything, they're divorced, have a bunch of kids, or they're just extremely bitter. They resent women who are homemakers and housewives because they had it within that age bracket of 20 to 25. They have a family and they're happy. Feminism has dealt women a really, really bad hand. Sold them a lie. A big, devilish lie.
Trying to look for his third wife. And you, as a single mother, may be looking for a stepfather for your child, like Sierra. But she's an exceptionally beautiful celebrity. But for regular women over 35, men tend to have a lot of baggage.
What did I say? What did I say? It's more realistic for women to look for a man who's like Papoose, who will stand by you. God forbid you do something stupid and get yourself locked up in prison for 8 years like Remy Ma did. And you see, like I said it again, why can't they look at Papoose and Remy Ma as a long-standing, real relationship? Because you know why? Because that type of relationship is real. Remy Ma and Papoose relationship is real. There's struggle. There's still sticking it out. Okay? They both had money. They both have money now. But it shows like, you know, they're on the same level. Papoose from the hood, Remy Ma's from pictures when they were young. See, that makes sense. Russell Wilson and Ciara, no, that's a mismatched marriage. Okay, it's just mismatch. Ciara was a thought, and Russell Wilson, I mean, his wife cheated on him with another football player, and then he gets with Ciara. Said if his wife cheated on him, you know, I'm not for the divorce. You know, hopefully they could have worked it out. You know, that's what I hope for marriage to work out. Divorce is pretty ugly. He goes and gets a woman with the past of an industry thought. It's right up there with like almost like the Kardashians, almost. So that's why you have men clowning Ciara, clowning Russell, because be honest with you, they don't match. They don't. And this is what women want. They want a man like Russell Wilson, not because he's a handsome catch, but because he's a sucker. He's someone that's going to take all their, you know, put up with their mess. And I'm telling you now, there's a vibe I get with Ciara and Russell Wilson that he's taking a lot of crap from her. He's a guy that I don't really have to change my ways. He could put up with all my BS. When in reality, you have to change. You have to adjust. You can't live that nasty life you used to live before. You have to conform to a higher standard in order to keep a relationship functional. Both sides have to work to be better, not just one. But unfortunately, if you tell black women that, they'll try to rely on feminism as their crutch, that I don't have to do that. That's oppression. You are a misogynist. You're a sexist pig. Let's keep going.
Around this age because they're broke. They don't have any money to date or to impress the women that they really want. And that's very frustrating for them. And dating after 35 is when the pool of rejects tends to get bigger. You know, these are your abusive men, your mentally ill nuts, your narcissists, your misogynists. The rejects are usually the ones that are the leftovers. These are the men that no one wants. This is why it's important for women to understand hypergamy, to win with hypergamy. And the younger the better, because dating after 35 it's tough.
I wonder if she's not talking about dating younger men, is she? Dating younger men? You're supposed to be dating older men. You're 35. Date a man that's young, that's older. Not you can't play that game because you're not going to respect the man. If she's talking about that, that's just another nail in the coffin. To just make your life from bad to worse. Okay? Let's keep going.
Moving on.
Let's talk. Trina Merritt was with a younger dude. Look what happened with that.
But wait. After 35, ladies, you gain weight and you start to age. After 35, the pounds come on, and they don't go away as easily. Weight loss can happen at any stage of a woman's life, but after 35, our metabolism starts to drastically slow down, and after 35, our bodies hormonally start to give us more backlash when our diets lack nutrition. Some people can get away with eating fast food for a long time, but it eventually catches up to everyone. Look at the health crisis and diabetes that we're having all around the world. Diabetes used to be an obese person's problem, but now, people in their 20s are getting diabetes. And after 35,
You could thank the fat acceptance movement for that nonsense. Let's keep going. And Lizzo being the mascot of it.
your body can't digest the garbage of a poor diet as well as it used to. And this is when a poor diet can age you. Now, I also know that black don't crack, and that as black people, our melanin slows the aging process down. Yes, black women usually tend to have youthful faces, but our bodies usually tell a different story. As a group, we tend to be overweight after 35.
That youthful face will stay there as long as you stay away from weed and drugs and hard liquor. Other than that, you're going to age bad.
Tend to be obese. We tend to be inflamed from poor nutrition. And this is where aging shows up the most in black women in our bodies because being significantly overweight is a byproduct of aging. And I'm sorry, y'all, some black does crack. And eventually, all women hit the wall of age, especially if they haven't kept up their looks. Moving on.
At least she's getting on. At least she's being honest. At least she's being honest.
After 35, men start to notice you messed. And as quiet as kept after 50, you start to become invisible to men. It's no secret, ladies, that women like attention from men. Men with money and resources tend to go after younger, more attractive, more vital women, and and don't get it twisted. A lot of older women are hot, they're sexy, and they can attract younger men. And these kinds of situationships are pretty common for women over 35 because it's an ego boost for older women to attract a younger, hotter guy. But usually, this situationship is based on sex, and it runs.
What did I say? What did I say? It doesn't last long. Whereas a man who is older, can date a younger woman, it will last longer and could be in a marriage. Look at George Clooney and the woman he's with. She's young. Okay. Michael Jordan, the wife he got, she's young. The wife he got, she's young. Okay. A lot of these women, they think they got, attracting a younger man, but guess what? That man only wants her for sex, and she won't respect that younger man. She won't. Let's keep going.
Its course and it can't sustain it. Because young guys are emotionally immature, they aren't providers, they don't have money, they can't do the things that older women enjoy doing because those things cost money. And usually, younger guys who have sex with older women have mommy issues. They want sugar mamas or they sleep with older women because older women usually lower their standards and are sometimes even desperate for anyone. So,
Facts with these older women, usually lower standards, and they're usually dating. I knew this older woman. I'll say it again. She was a social worker, and she was dating men that could be her clients and facing all types of abuse, even violence, due to that, because she liked men with edge, and She didn't want to date men on her level because they're boring. She had a chance to have a kid, even though she probably would have been a single mom, but she hated it, called it evil. Basically, the word she was saying was, she might as well just called it evil. Let's keep going.
So the younger man, the older woman dynamic usually doesn't work out because you cannot build a relationship on sexual attraction alone. Moving on, and this is a sensitive one, ladies. Fertility. Fertility dips after 35, and a lot of women.
What do you know? Because when women, let's say women are in some male-dominated field, let's say police work, being in the military. Remember a story about this, I believe on Tucker Carlson, one of those conservative news channels. And a woman who was in the military talked about this, the problems of infertility for female soldiers. Okay. It could really mess up their lives with this feminism and doing all you can do and being masculine. Yep, sure can.
They think they can have babies anytime they want, but our bodies are given a window to have children. Fertility dips after 35. And if you want children and you want a family, you usually want to do it before 35 because after 35, getting pregnant, and of course, some women are blessed with strong fertility, but fertility after 35 can come with complications.
What did I tell you about Janet Jackson? Okay. But women think because Janet Jackson can do it, they can do it. But forget about the resources and the money that Janet Jackson has. They don't have Janet Jackson money.
Like autism, birth defects, because after 35.
Exactly. I remember a show back in the day. I forgot. I think it was Corky. His name was Corky. And it was about a couple, and the woman was very old, kind of very up in age, and she had a kid, and the kid had Down syndrome. This is what happens. You can't have kids whenever you want. And it's very rare that those kids don't come out with mental disorders or physical impairments.
The chromosomes in our eggs aren't optimal. Now, we are seeing a lot of celebrity women have babies in their 40s, but trust and believe they are using top notch fertility doctors, and as quiet as kept, a lot of Hollywood women are using donor eggs and using surrogates. Because
what did I tell you? Okay. Or using a man, I forgot his name. He's called the Sperminator. I forgot his name. He was a college professor, and he was going around just giving his sperm away to women. He was sleeping with a lot of women, and he thought he was doing a great thing, just being a sperm donor, until those women started hitting him with child support. Mind you. Okay. And that's what women had to resort to because they were up in age and their eggs were dried up. And this is what happens when you go against nature. You go against your God-given design. The God-given design smacks you right back. Ever heard of the Empire Strike Back? The God-given design strikes back.
Some women's bodies cannot handle pregnancy after 35. And all of these procedures cost money, buku money. Why? Because life costs money. And lastly, life becomes expensive after 35. This is when money really becomes a motivating factor and force in dating for women because after 35, women begin to see the value in having security for themselves, security for their children. Women want stability. Usually, women who say that marriage is just a piece of paper, and that it don't stop men from cheating. Usually those women, they don't understand the financial benefits of being married to a man who is a provider. But after 35, trust and believe, she's humming and singing a different tune.
Exactly. A lot of these women who have kids become single mothers, and they think they can do it on their own. They see how hard it is, and now they want a man. They're looking for a man to provide for them. Look at Mary J. Blige. Okay, she provided for her husband. Big mistake. Now he hit her up for spousal support. Now she wants a man that's going to take care of her. Okay, no, it doesn't work that way. Does not work that way.
Because life costs money. Nothing is free. After 35, women want marriage because marriage to a provider man comes with life insurance, medical coverage, pensions, higher salaries, a husband with a will, and security for your children. After 35, ladies, you want to feel good. You get tired of hustling and struggling. You want manicures, you want pedicures, you want your hair done, you want to go shopping, you want to impress your friends, you want to go to nice restaurants, you want to.
See, a lot of these women usually don't get this type of information until after they made the mistakes, because they're around a bunch of women who've been divorced themselves. A lot of women in the Black community who come from a family of just divorcees. Just a house, just a family, just a bunch of women. You don't see the men, no husbands, no fathers around, just a bunch of women. Okay. And now they try to just live out their days, either trying to live with their relatives, living with their best friend, or they live in shelters. Okay. Or they turn to same-sex relationships. This is what they don't tell you. Let's keep going.
To travel and experience new things. You want to buy nice Christmas gifts for the kids. You want to create great memories, and for that to happen, you need money. And when you see feminine women who are getting men to pay for the things that you once bragged about getting on your own, the Miss I Do It All tends to get, she gets really mad. She gets big mad. She becomes envious and resentful because Miss I Do It All always hates on the woman who used her femininity to get what all women want out of life, and that's security. So if you're at 35 or over 35, subscribe to this channel to learn how to put yourself on a hypergamous path, because it ain't over for you, but you don't have time to waste either. And if you're under 35, subscribe and be glad that you live in the information.
Unfortunately, for someone, they're not going to listen. Okay. It's just that simple. They're not going to listen. They're not going to want to take this information in. For some, it is too late. I'm not trying to be mean. That's just the reality. Okay. That's just it. Okay. That is just it. All right. It pretty much is. Unless you want to change. But don't worry, you are going to change, because this economy is going to fall apart. Okay. Some of you, live in the projects. Some of you live in the 5 boroughs where crime is going up. Yeah, you're going to have to change your tune quick. But unfortunately, just being real, it's a little too late for some. Especially if you have a already managed feminist mindset that you refuse to break. You refuse to change. You refuse to do that. You refuse to listen to sound advice. You refuse to deal appropriately, to walk accordingly, to try to get a man. Okay? Some of you have kids by different men. That's just a triple, just a 2 strikes against you. Okay? All right. Well, tell me what you think about this commentary. Let me know. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. This is coming from a woman. It's not coming from a man that's made this video. Basically telling you the hardcore truth. Okay? All right. Later.